Welcome everyone. Beginning of September, and you know what that means. Fall's around the corner. I get to wear my hoodies again, which I'm always in short supply of. I burned through them. I burned through the elbows from sitting on my desk all day, almost every day, right? And I just love them, and because of that, I burned through them. So if you got a good hoodie recommendation, bring it. I'm always in the market. But with fall around the corner, August is done. Summer's over. Kinda. It's still in the 90s here, man, during the day, and it's getting a little bit old. So I'm really hoping for those 60s. I got my big hug mug, and we're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about the Denver real estate market, what the trends were for August, which usually we start to see stuff get shaken up a little bit this time of year because summer season is over. We're getting into fall. Stuff starts sitting on the market for longer. People start freaking out a little bit, and it happens every single year, and the media headlines take advantage of that. We're going to look at some national numbers, see if we're on trend with what the rest of the world is doing with real estate, at least the U.S., and kind of compare us. Interest rates are still doing what they're doing, and that's going up, which is squeezing the amount of buyers out there in the market. My apologies for this being a few days later. Usually I like this to come out on, let's say, Wednesday, with my weekly newsletter, which you're not a part of. There's a link description below. You can get my weekly email, kind of keep up to date on what the market is doing if you're, thinking about buying or selling, or you just want to know what the heck is going on, to see if you can, pounce on the situation when it's right for you. But we were out of town this last weekend, and we went up to the Aspen area, and I actually have a cool vlog, which I got to get around to editing it because, man, doing vlog style videos is quite a bit different. I end up with like 100 clips and 40 gigs of video, and it takes a lot to go through. And, I've had some deals in the works, and I feel like right now everything's harder, right? I feel like all the transactions I've had over the last year even take about 4 times as much work just to get them to the closing table. Problems coming up. I've got one that I'm actually recording a video on now because it's there's been some new stuff. There's always new things that you learn in this business, and this deal was no different. So if you're not part of the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I'll keep you updated as to how deals go, how transactions go, the emotions that we go through when buying and selling, because I think that's super valid information, and everybody always feels like they're on an island and that like this is new, this is different feeling, but in reality everybody goes through this stuff, right? And that half of our job is to just literally be a therapist, and hold people's hands through this process because it can be extremely stressful for both buyers and sellers, right? So, without further ado, though, let's get into the numbers. What the heck did August do? And we're going to start with where we always start, and that's close price. So, let's jump right over here. So once again, we're looking at the Denver Metro MLS, which incorporates a good chunk, almost up to Fort Collins, a little bit down into Colorado Springs. So they kind of merge all this stuff together. Most of the Front Range is what we're looking at. And closed price. So we look at the median. I don't look at the average much. I don't even know what it's doing. Same thing, except a little bit higher number. So last April, as you know, 600 was the top. And this year we hit in July 575, so kind of flatlined from June, and then dropped down to 566, so down 1% or so. And how normal is that, right? Let's go back and look, and let's go back 2018. The peak was in May, June, July. It started to go down, and then went down all the way to 390. Further than that, 387, 385 by January. So as I said, we went from 410 down to 385. That's a 10% adjustment in 1 year. So as I always say, like, if you are just now paying attention to the market, every year we adjust by 5 to 7%. Some years as much as 10. Last year we happened to adjust by 15%, and that's felt so big because the numbers were so much bigger. Going from 400 to 360 doesn't feel the same as going from 600 down to 540, right? It just feels like such a much bigger change because the numbers are that much bigger. Going from a million to 900 feels even bigger. So just be prepared. Over the next handful of months, we're probably going to keep decreasing in price on the median sales price. So close price, we are down. Let's go back here. New listings coming onto the market. This has been the driving force of actually what's been kind of keeping us flatlined, as far as balancing buyers and sellers. Is that, we had a few more listings in August than July, but typically, we see new listings start to plummet. So this will be something that we need to pay attention to. So this year we had 7,700 come active in August compared to last year we had 8,100. So a few more last year than this year. But we all know what happened last year. Prices just fell off the map. Buyers just disappeared. Now, that could have been because of interest rates at the time were just going up so drastically fast. They've kind of mellowed out at least a little bit, but they mellowed out at a high level. So let's just pay attention. If we get a spike in inventory, we'll get a drop in prices. Active listings. These are, how many properties are staying on the market that have come on the market. So this year, we dropped a little bit in the amount of active listings. So we sold more than came on the market. So August, we have 12,644 compared to last year. Yowza, 15,576. What is that? 25-ish percent less active listings this year than last year. So if we miraculously get all this inventory coming on the market in the next month or two, prices will continue to drop. But man, we had a huge spike in inventory last year, which led to aggressive price drops happening. Pending listings. How many people are out there shopping and buying a house? This was an interesting number. It actually went up in August, up to basically 6,100 pending from 5,900 in July. So it doesn't seem like a big difference, but when we look at just about every other year, last year we did tick up just a tiny bit in August as well. But we generally see this big drop come August of properties that are going under contract. And then we just continue to see this number decline for the rest of the year until about January, February almost. Closed listings. How many people are buying? So a little bit of an uptick here, but still, all these numbers, look at how suppressed these numbers are. It's all fairly chunked together. We don't have these wild moves right now where, look at these last 3 years. It looks like Mount Everest in comparison to those Shiners hats. Is that what it is? That's what we got going on this year. Not many people are putting their house on the market. That's just the reality, and that's keeping things balanced. Days in MLS, you're going to start hearing these headlines out there, right? I warned you about this stuff. We're up to 13 days on the market on average. That's up from 10 days on the market. So you're going to hear headlines, things like 30%, more time on the market, which, yeah, it totally is, but it's 3 days. This is nothing. Last year, where were we at? So in January, we were at 35 days. That felt like forever. Last August, we were at 11 days. So we were actually had less days on the market last year than we did this year, surprisingly. But watch for this spike to happen. I wonder what happens cyclically. So last year, gosh, look at that thing. Prior to that, 2020, it starts spiking up really aggressively. Back in 2014 through 2017, it kind of stayed at bay. But we get any shakiness happen, and boom, that number skyrockets. So watch days on market to keep increasing, right? Months supply. So months supply, we actually dropped a little bit. So once again, getting back to active listings or pending closed listings, increasing a little bit, meaning we sold more than came on the market. This reflects that. So we're down to 2.3 months of inventory versus 2.4 in July. So Again, not many people are putting their house on the market, and buyers are still buying. The limited number of them are, at least. Now, dollar volume, I don't typically look at this much, but this one is kind of interesting. So this is just the total amount of dollars transacted in the real estate market. Now, this goes back to closed listings. So when we look back at a big closed listing numbers, and these dollar volume and closed listings should mimic each other, these closings are really down, folks. So something that we don't talk about much here is just the industry in a whole, right? The real estate industry is a big industry, right? Uh, Lots of people own a home. Everybody lives in a home. So somebody owns that home, whether it's an investor, some landlord, some big company out there, doesn't matter, or obviously individual homeowners. Um, and when people don't put their house on the market, it affects our entire industry. Okay. And what we have right now is a lot of people feeling stuck with low interest rates. They don't want to sell their house and move to where they want to move to because the rate, the monthly payment is going to double on you. Even if you sell at the same price and buy at the same price, and put all that equity that you've earned into your next place, your mortgage is going to go from $1,800 a month to $3,600 a month. That's just the reality right now. And so if you're actually stuck, if you feel stuck, I'd love for you to drop a comment below, and just kind of tell us why you're not moving, because you're part of the problem. No offense. But, well, I mean, we have so many people right now that are not putting their house on the market, and not moving into what they want to move into, whether that's downsizing, whether that's upsizing, moving across town. They're just dealing with their commute right now and not moving, and that's creating more of a problem. We don't get all those houses on the market, and you're not out there buying a house, and so it reduces all those transactions. But we got to remember how big this industry is. I mean, we've got, of course, real estate agents. We've lost so many already. I think in Denver, we're down, 15 to 20% of our total licensed real estate agents, which is a good thing because so many people don't even do a single transaction every single year. It's like 50% of agents don't do one deal a year. Out of the remaining 50%, it's like 10% do more than 6 deals a year. And so it's like the 80-20 rule, but it's like 98-2. 2% of the agents are doing all of the work out there because it's a sexy industry that attracts a lot of get-rich-quick people, and then they realize that it's a much harder business than it comes off to be. But that's neither here nor there. But in this industry, beyond real estate agents, you have lenders who are paid by how many closings and how many dollars of real estate transacts. Then you have photography companies that are photographing all these houses, which get paid a flat rate per house that they are photographing. You have staging companies, title companies, if I didn't say that. Those are all paid based on how many transactions they're doing. We're down 50% in transactions or more, and that's pretty much nationwide. And so we're seeing a lot of people exit this industry, and it's taking a big hit. We have title companies closing offices all over the place, laying people off every single day because there's just not as many deals happening. So, dollar volume is down significantly. $4 billion transacted this year. Versus where were we last year? We were 4.4 billion. But compared to previous years, I mean, we top out 6 billion in June of 2021. That's 50% less in dollars transacted. That's a big deal. So, coming on here now, how much showings activity are we getting? This is just reflected of how many buyers are out there in the market. And right now, we're getting about 9 showings per listing, and that's been the same all across, the entire summer. And so that's definitely on the low end. So, sorry, let me close windows. We got landscapers out here. And back. So, Showings are down quite a bit. The amount of showings per listing is dropping. So we're getting about 5.8 showings per listing, and shows to pending. It's taking about 9 showings to go under contract on your house. So there you have it. Now, what's my take on the Denver market? Well, we're in this weird balancing act, right? Same as last month. Not a whole lot of houses coming onto the market, which is keeping things completely balanced. But how do we compare to the national numbers, right? Are we on pace? Do we have more wild adjustments than the rest of the country? And yes, we do, because we're higher priced. Us, Seattle, San Francisco, LA, New York, all of us have much wilder swings than, the middle of Ohio, right? Because prices are half of what they are here. But to take a look at those, let's pull up Redfin's housing data here, and we'll take a peek here. Now, something that we need to address, though, before we get to that, is current mortgage rates. They're getting up there, folks. I mean, let's get rid of FHA. Let's get rid of the jumbo. We're looking today at 7.2% interest rates. And if you want to see what that means, like, if you haven't looked at this, if you're not in the market to buy, you've probably not, really paid attention to this. But let's go back to the average price in Denver right now, or the median price, 566. Okay. So if you wanted to buy a $566,000 home and you wanted to put down 20%, which you don't have to, you can put down as little as 5%, on a 30-year fixed at 7.2%. Let's just put in some basics here of property taxes of 0.5%, homeowners insurance at $2,000 a year, no condo and HOA fees. Boom, $3,400 a month, $3,500 a month, and that's if you got great credit, right? And you've got a good rate going. It's darn expensive right now to be buying, and there you have it. That's how it shakes out, folks. Now, what's crazy is the jumbo loan. My God. Jumbo loans are up to 7.67%. So if you don't know what a jumbo loan is, you're in the same boat as most of us are. And that means you probably don't make over $500,000 a year. It's when you need to borrow more than about, $765,000. So traditional conventional loans, you can borrow up to like $765,000, I think is the new limit. And it depends county for county. It's different all throughout the country. Jumbo loans can go up more. I don't know what their upper limits are, but it gets crazy. So the more money you borrow, the more interest you pay on that money. So if you're looking for a $1.5 million house and you want to borrow $1 million worth, you're paying through the nose right now. And that's a long time high. I don't know what the year is, but it's at least a 25-year high on jumbo rates. Now, nationwide, how are we looking? So let's start same progression here. Median sale prices. What's crazy is we have held flat. We're at $379,000 as the median sales price. Last year we were down to $362,000, so we're up 4% year over year on the median sales price. Now, we didn't beat the tip at $386,000 that it was back in May, June of 2022, but man, we have just flatlined, and this is all throughout the country. Let's see new listings that have come onto the market. Let's see what the nationwide inventory is doing. And again, we're less new listings this year hitting the market than last year by, down 9%. So long as inventory stays suppressed, prices are going to remain balanced. Let's see, number of active listings on the market. Quite a bit less than last year. Geez, 18% less year over year on active listings in the entire country. That's a significant dip. So, narrative stays the same. Less listings, less buyers, balanced market. Closed listings. Let's see here. Sorry, it's in a different format than I'm used to. Homes sold, yep, we are down 14% year over year. 14% nationwide less home sales this year than last year. So But look at how flat this is, man. This is not normal, but we're not in a normal time. Month supply of inventory. Let's see, where are we at? Month supply. So month supply is kind of right on par with last year. So if the numbers stay on trend for what happened last year, that's probably going to stay the same for this year. We probably get some more inventory, stuff sits on the market for longer, and we get more price drops, which this is the funnest number that Redfin has, in my opinion. And if there's no other reason to look on Redfin's website for their data center, it's this on price drops. So this gives you a feel for the willingness for a seller, the panic. We'll say it that way, the panic for sellers. And this is what happens. So right now we are having more price drops this year with less inventory on the market than we did last year, and last year felt crazy at this time of year. So here's what happens, right? And we all fall victim to it as real estate agents because we want the deal, right? Don't kid yourself. Most of us real estate agents will say anything just to get the deal. We'll list it at 100 grand over asking because we just want the listing, and then we'll have uncomfortable conversations to get price drops happening. Because once we have the listing agreement, we're in bed for 6 months together, like we're married essentially. I don't roll that way. I let people out whenever the heck they want, as long as we're not under contract. But most agents are not like that. And so here's what happens: is that seller starts talking to agents in June and July, right? This happens every single year. And so you've already just missed the panic period for buyers where they're like, April, about March, April, May, 3 best months of the year to sell your house. Most sellers start talking to agents in June and July. Okay. That's just what happens. And right then, every agent's like, heck yeah, everything's selling, everything's hunky dory. Like, let's put your house on the market. We'll get multiple offers on it. And the truth be told, the seller isn't ready to put their house on the market yet. A couple months goes by, they're getting their poop in a group. And come August, September, now they're getting serious about, all right, let's get my house on the market. I'm a little bit late when really they're 3 to 4 months late. But now they're ready. And the narrative has been the same, like from all these agents that they're talking to, of like, yep, market's great, market's great, market's great. And then they finally get on the market and it's a ghost town. You have 1 or 2 showings the first weekend, right? And everybody goes, oh crap, we overpriced it. We don't have any showings. What's going on? The world is ending. Shoot, we screwed up. We shot and we missed. And it happens every single year, right? And so then what happens is 2 weeks go by and you've had a couple of showings and everybody's freaking out going, we gotta, someone else just listed their house now and it's lower than ours and it's in nicer shape. So now we got to drop the price 10, 20, 30 grand. And you have this price race drop down. And what's cool actually on Redfin here is that you can look up different metro areas, and I always love picking on Seattle for this stat because it's fascinating to see. Denver's pretty hefty too. So let's just look at Denver. Where is it? Price drops. And let's look up. We don't have Denver over here. Let's just go to Colorado. And let's look at metro areas. And let's look at Denver. Okay. So, going to price drops. Where'd it go? Boom. This is a wild number. So, in 2022, we went from 13% of properties on the market having a price drop. Totally normal. People shooting for the moon and they miss, and 13%, 1 out of 8 approximately have to do some sort of a price adjustment. That's in a super hyper market, right? Totally normal. That was in February of 2022. We're at 13%. Like, we were 2 months before, like, the absolute peak of the market we've ever seen. By August of last year, over 57% of the homes on the market had a price drop in Denver alone. Nationwide, I don't know what that number is, but that's what happens. I mean, we can see cyclically every year, 40%, 40%, 41% of homes have price drops, starting in August. Like, so we're on pace. 44% of homes on the market have had a price drop. And so that's what we see every single year, and that's what starts to drive houses down in every single market. So, what's next? Right. Well, I've already kind of told you what I think. I think we have a similar year that we have in past years. I think we adjust by 5 to 10%. I think it's closer to 10% than it is 5% because of the lack of buyers out there. And interest rates, just keep ticking up. If we get over 8% interest rates, I think we see some more trouble. And I think we see some more houses sit on the market. I don't think we're going to get a flood of inventory unless, something happens, war breaks out, people, companies start going bankrupt left and right. So I don't think that's the problem. I just think it's literally going to be closings continuing to go down and properties sitting on the market waiting for the right buyer. Okay. So that's it. If you got any questions, feel free, reach out. Let me know. You want to call me, you want to text me, phone numbers down in the description. Feel free. And, pay attention. I've got some new vlog style stuff coming out, which hopefully is quite a bit more engaging than, more of the dry talking head, me just sitting here talking to you face to face. But if you want to talk to me in person, I'd love to chat with you. I love talking about this stuff. I talk about it all day, every day. And until the next time, happy housing.